Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. And I'm back. I haven't done this in 5 or 6 weeks now. It's been a while. It's been all of October. I've been kind of busy hanging out with my family on a cruise and everything, and I'm finally back and filming. First video back was the what I did in October. If you're interested, I'm glad to have you here. I don't know what I'm saying. My first video back is going to be what I played in October. Some of the stuff I played while on vacation. A lot of it I played here, either with my family. My mom's in town. We played some games with my daughter and her. Played some games with just my mom. And I played quite a few solo games, to include touching up on some new games that came in during the month, or right before I was gone, or right after I came back. So it's been quite the month. A couple housekeeping notes here real quick. I lost a couple subscribers apparently, whatever. I don't have that many subscribers though, so I do notice when they go, versus if I had a lot more, I probably wouldn't notice. I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or if you just got tired of my content, whatever. If you like what I have, please feel free to resubscribe, or if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the button below and see some more videos coming from me weekly at a minimum, with some other videos sprinkled in here and there. Like I said, I had a kind of a busy October, so I didn't sprinkle those in, and every video that came out in October was pre-filmed in September. So this is my first video back. We're now in November, and I'm looking back at what I played in October. Alright, so looking at what I played in October, my count is, I'm going to call it 38 and a half games, and we'll get to the half as we come to it, as I do these kind of in chronological order through the month. 23 individual games, so of the 38 total games, 23 and a half of them were different games, whereas, you know, the other 15 would have been replays of other games. And finally, I've got 9 and a half new to me games this month, which is way more than the 2 I hit up on last month. And again, a lot of that is because I got a lot of new games in this month, and I think my next video is going to highlight everything I got in October or around October as Kickstarters came in. I was supposed to go to Essen, I didn't, but I sent a friend with a bunch of money, and so I got a lot of Essen games and, you know, pre-orders and other things along the way. So I think that's going to be my next video. If you want to stay tuned for that, it'll be kind of a, not really unboxing, but I might open some of the boxes you see behind me, maybe briefly. I haven't filmed that yet, so I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Anyway, stay tuned for that. A lot of new content for me, new games that I want to kind of look into with my next video, I think, is what that's going to be. 9 and a half new to me games in October, and then just four repeats from, you know, September, and that's going to happen, you know, month to month, especially as, you know, my collection doesn't grow. I'm going to be replaying a lot of my games that I have. But in October, that only happened 4 times, so not a lot of repeats like the last month. If you watched that one, it was like half old content. This one's got a lot of new content, so let's go ahead and get into the video if we can. Alright, so the first of the 23 and a half games I played in October is going to be Creature Comforts, and that was a new to me game last month, I believe, or within the last couple months. I taught this one to my mom, and my daughter, you know, played it again for the second or third time. We really enjoy this one. It's nice family-friendly worker placement where you're not fighting over the worker spots, but you are having some random luck with the dice rolls and whether or not you can use the spots that you want to use. It's a really enjoyable family game. Got it to the table again. The second game I played is another game I played, I thought, last month, but it didn't appear on that list, so I guess I kind of took a month off. Played this one with my mom a little bit, and hopefully we can continue playing as November goes on. It's Crew Mission Deep Space. Again, it's a trick-taking game, working together to get certain quests taken care of. I really enjoy it. You know, I've only played it with 2 for some reason, but it plays up to 4 or 5, I believe, and looking forward to, or I think I played with 2 and 3, my bad, but with just my mom recently. So, all right, the first new to me game in October is going to be Welcome to the Moon. It's a little campaign roll and write game or I guess flipping right, not rolling right, where you're taking cards and you're taking an action based on the kind of 3 different cards that can come out, at least in the solo game. That's all I've ever played it. You're going to flip out 3 cards. One of them you're going to take the number from, one you're going to take the action from, and you're kind of inhabiting the moon. I'm still kind of playing the introductory game, learning how the game plays and everything. But there is a campaign mode where you're going to unlock even more cards and more, I guess, things that are going to happen. I don't know. I haven't dug into that part of the game. There's a lot of stuff in this game that I'm really looking forward to digging into some more. But it's nice to play in 20, 30 minutes, I think, to flip and write a game out and continue the journey. It's a little bit of a choose-your-own adventure, too, in the adventure log. And like I said, with the campaign mode, I can only imagine how that's going to play out. So I'm really excited to continue playing Welcome to the Moon. I've really enjoyed playing that in October, and that was the first new-to-me game that I unwrapped. All right, the 4th game you've heard of a lot. We've played it a couple times this month, me and my mom. My mom likes it, even though it's kind of real heavy for her. It's Ark Nova. It's one of my favorite games. My mom really enjoys it, and we've played that again a couple times while she's been here. All right, the next game is another new-to-me game. It's Raiders of the North Sea. I played this one solo with the app, and I'm not sure if I wasn't quite playing it right or anything, but it got to the point where the AI opponent was kind of locked out of a lot of the actions they would have been taking, and I don't know if I was supposed to just keep pulling cards for them until they could actively take an action or what. So it just kind of, I locked them out of their actions as opposed to them locking me out of my actions as the AI game's supposed to go. And that was at like halfway through, a little more than halfway through. At the beginning, obviously, lots of spaces were available. But once I started taking out the spaces, they weren't getting the ones that were still open coming up from turn to turn. I enjoyed it. I really liked the worker placement aspect of it, where you're going to place one worker and do the action, and then take one worker that's already on the board to do that action, and then you'll have that worker, and the various colors of workers dictate basically strength of actions or where you can go on the board. Some of them are locked out from some workers. I thought it was a really good, fun game, and I might actually try to introduce that to my mom, as I've introduced a little bit more worker placement stuff to her, as you'll see later. I guess you won't see later in the list because we did that last night, and that was November, so that'll come out next month. But I did introduce her to Lords of Waterdeep to spoil next month's list, I guess. So it'll be nice to see if she kind of picks up on that and carries in. Maybe we'll play some Raiders of the North Sea here in this last week that she's in town. Okay, the 6th game I played is the one I played a little bit here and there. Played it with my mom and daughter again. It's going to be Small World of Warcraft. It's a small world game, little area control. A little bit fun. I think my mom didn't enjoy it as much. Took her a while to kind of catch on to what was going on, but there is a lot to take in with just the variable, powers and factions and races and everything. So yeah, it's a lot to kind of learn if you're not used to playing heavier style games as much. But we enjoy playing that one from time to time. Small World of Warcraft. The 7th game I played a lot ever since I got it, and it's the game of the year from the Spiel des Jahres, Cascadia. I played this one, I think, just solo in October. Speaking of solo in October, the next game is Final Girl. I got my Wave 1 shipping, so I've got the big box. I don't know if you can see it kind of behind me there. So now I've got everything for Season 1, at least everything that's been shipped so far. Before I only had 3 of the 5 potential stories, but now I've got all 5. And I've got the miniatures I've been kind of slowly working on painting as well. I really enjoy Final Girl. It's a fun little solo game I can knock out in 20, 30 minutes, and it's great for the Halloween season, and that's why I've been kind of picking at it here and there a couple times in October. All right, the 9th game to me, on the app it showed up as new to me, but it's not new to me at all. It's the Clue Simpsons version. My daughter likes playing those old style games. They're real fun. It's how I got my start, so it's nice to see my daughter enjoying those, even if I don't like them as much. But it's something I didn't have to teach my mom how to play or my daughter how to play. We could play it out, and it played pretty quickly. We got the mystery solved pretty quick. I think my mom figured it out in like the 5th or 6th turn. But it's not bad. It's kind of how the game could go in Clue if you're going to the right place with the right guesses at the right time. Clue The Simpsons. All right, the 10th game is another one we play quite often when my mom's in town because, she likes it, my daughters like it. It's Isle of Cats. I'm not going to go too deep in that. I played that a lot recently too, and I'm sure if you want to know more about it, there's plenty of content out there to search. All right, the 11th game is another one we played cooperatively. It's Horrified, again, getting into the season, even though we played this one earlier in the month than, closer to Halloween. But Horrified, going around the board, working together to get rid of the old-fashioned monsters. All right, the 12th game we played on the ship. Now, when I was on my cruise, because it's a small box we could take along, I didn't even take the box, actually. I did take the box with some other stuff in it. Anyway, I digress. Zombie Kidz Evolution, another little small, easy to play, pull out, plays quick. We played this on the ship while we were kind of just sitting around in the room waiting for, I think our dinner reservation, something we had like 20 some minutes to kill. So we pulled out Zombie Kidz Evolution and played that one. All right. I think that's the only one I actually played on the ship, looking at the list, because the next one I definitely didn't play on the ship. It's a new-to-me game. It's Between Two Cities, Stonemaier game, where I played this one solo, but it's basically a game that plays up to 5, 6, or 7. I don't remember the exact number. It's got a higher count, and between you and the person to your right and left, you're working to build out city, and how you design them are going to dictate how you're going to score the points. In the solo mode, I just played against 2 different AIs, and I dictated what tiles went where, and then they get points based on the shared city they had, and, the AI, of course, won when I played against them. Guess I didn't do a great job. But you're also scoring the lower score of your 2 cities, so you can't just pile up points on one city and then not any on the other city. So, and that's kind of what got me, is I did have the cities pretty well even. I think one city had 72, but the other one only had 63, and I think the AI city had 68. So because I only scored the 63 and they scored the 68, between the 68 and the 72, then they won the 68. I digress. The next game I played came free with the Stonemaier sale last month, September. So Smitten, a little 1 or 2 player card game where you're playing cards into 2 different tableaus to complete the picture, and when you play a card, it'll say something that your partner has to do, and if they can't do it, you lose, but if they do it, they play it, and then you draw up, and then somebody else takes a turn to, again, play one card, and then the partner has to follow the rules of that card. I played it solo again. It was okay. Whatever. I won. I thought it was relatively easy. Maybe I'll play it again and not find it as easy, so I probably got lucky. But, I've had plenty of better games that are kind of like that and play just as quick by myself. So, speaking of which, the next game I played is Sprawlopolis. I really enjoy this one. It's a button-shy game. I took a lot of these on the cruise, but I ended up playing any of them on the cruise. We kept ourselves busy other ways, other than the aforementioned Zombie Kidz Evolution. I just like playing Sprawlopolis. It's a fun little filler when I can't think of anything better to do, which is kind of what happened. I was just back here organizing my shelves, and I was like, I need to play something if I'm back here for an hour staring at my games. So I pulled out Sprawlopolis, played that real quick, and I believe Ruel Gabiola has that on his Discord as the solo play of the month. So gave that a go. Didn't score very well, so I didn't even put my score into the challenge. All right, coming up is the half game, right? Almost the halfway mark even for the month. The half game I played is Autobahn. I pulled that out, read through the rules, laid out, started playing solo, and something wasn't playing right or something, and the rules aren't clear. I think I read through the solo rules 3 different times, the main rules 2 different times as I was playing, just to try to make sure I was doing things right. So basically the problem I have with it is the AI cards, in normal solo games, if you've played a bunch of them, you're going to flip a card, and that's going to dictate what the AI does, and it's usually pretty self-explanatory, but in this case, it really wasn't clear at all. And one of the cards has a shared action. Of the 4 or 5 actions you can take on a turn, 2 of them were on the same card on the AI cards, and that didn't make sense to me, and I ended up only doing the 1 action on the card every time because it didn't make much sense to do the other one when the first action was available. And the rulebook never made it clear which, when to not do, in this case, the place road action versus the upgrade or road action. It just said kind of a priority list of they would place it here, 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 or there, or if they don't place the road, then you do the upgrade here, 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 here. But I could never find why I wouldn't ever place the road for them. And then the other action is to, move the truck, and they get to move the truck for free at the end of all their actions, unlike the players who kind of got it, only if, they match the color with the truck and things like that. I'm not going to get into a lot. But because the AI could move their trucks at the end of every action, they got to the point where they ran out of road. And so there are a lot of turns where the AI's trucks were just sitting there waiting for the right road color to come out to continue the road. And that wasn't happening either. And so I was just doing a lot of nothing with their turns, it seemed, or nothing productive with their turns. They're just placing roads wherever because that's where the game said to place them. And their trucks weren't delivering, so whenever the get a new truck on the board card came out, that was just a wasted action. Nothing happened. So then I would just have to draw the next action card, which is place a road on a different part of the map that didn't do anything for them anyway. So I played about halfway through the game, and it was getting close to dinner time, and I just packed it all up and put it away. And I'll have to dig back into that or find maybe somewhere it'll become more clear what maybe I was doing wrong, because it didn't feel right and it didn't feel fun. The one thing they were doing was driving the end game, because every time they place a road, they're going to place one of the workers out, and it's going to drive the end game as the workers get pushed up the board, and the road tiles come off the board is what dictates when the end of the game is. So if I kept playing, I'm sure they would have kicked my butt, because they had a bunch of point cards on the worker spots, but their actions didn't matter. It didn't seem to matter, and I wanted it to matter. And my turns were okay. I enjoy my actions of the game. I did not enjoy the AI, so I'm looking forward to playing this with actual people and maybe never touching the solo again, unless I can clear up what felt wrong to me, I guess. So there's your quick review of my first take of Autobahn, if you were interested in that and you happen to stumble across the middle of this video. First take, I think I'll really enjoy it with people, but the solo mode just didn't work for me on the first go. Anyway, so moving on. The next new to me game I played is Under Falling Skies. It's kind of what was the game called? A little, not Atari game. I had it, but at the arcade you could go and play. You're shooting aliens out as they work their way down. It's that game. It's that Metroid, I believe. I don't know, maybe I'll put a correction in and let you know if I look it up. But anyway, Metroid, the game, Under Fallen Skies, is a fun little solo game again. Like I said, I played a lot of solo this month. Not on purpose necessarily, just, I like come in and play games, and if other people don't join me, I play solo. But I enjoyed Under Fallen Skies. It's got a campaign mode as well that I haven't quite gotten into yet, but I think I'm ready to do that the next time I pull it out. I was just kind of learning how the game goes. Another dice placement game, so you've got a little luck of the dice, but you're choosing what to do with them, and then as the mothership comes down and as the little ships come down, you're trying to learn about alien knowledge before they destroy your city. All right, the 18th game is not quite a new to me game, but I had only ever played it once before and solo, and this time I actually played it with my mom and my daughter. It's Juicy Fruits, a little easy, kind of resource management and then tile buying, laying, moving game. So it's fun. It's not bad. Not something I'm hoping to pull out and play a lot. It's a take it or leave it. It doesn't take too long to play, but long enough that you've got to put effort into wanting to play it. And I think I've just got plenty of other games I'd rather play before it, but for a light family kind of resource generator, resource using tile-ish laying game, Juicy Fruits fits the bill, and it wasn't an expensive buy for me when I got it anyway, so it's fun. I enjoyed playing it finally not solo, and I think my family had a good time with it as well, so Juicy Fruits was my whatever number we're on now game. I think 17.5, if you're counting. All right, so the next game, and this is where I started to break into some of my games I got at Essen. Come Together, a little Woodstock themed-ish game. None of the bands and nothing's real. It's all fictional. But it's a little worker placement, and then you're building up your tableau and trying to put on concerts and attract fans that get you more points because they want to see the bands they want to see. And the stages they give you bonus points for having the right bands and audience on it. You're going to collect, from your venues that you can match up and create venues and get points for that. I played this one solo. I thought the solo mode was decent, I think it probably does a decent job of replicating what it's going to be like to play with real people too. And unlike the Autobahn one, it was easy to understand what I was doing. So I enjoyed it, and it was a pretty close game too. So come together, I look forward to, again, like a lot of these games, playing with other people, but I did not enjoy this one with the solo mode, and I happily play this one again. All right, the next one is a roll and write. I've gotten a lot of these recently. I've kind of gotten into it when I never thought I would much. Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. I'm going to say that I prefer the other ones I own to this one, but that's not saying it's bad. It's just different, and not different good enough for me to want to pull it out over the other ones. But it was enjoyable, rolling the dice and moving through the dungeon, beating up bosses. I played this one solo a couple different times, and I had a decent time doing it, but not the greatest time. So, decent game. I could introduce it to other people, and I don't think it's going to be too complex for them to learn either. But again, another one I played solo, Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. All right, the next game is another new to me game picked up at Essen, is Lacrimosa. You're completing the final work from Mozart. I really like Mozart. The movie Amadeus is one of my favorite movies. I don't know. So the theme really caught my eye. There's not many music-themed games for somebody who isn't musical. Like, I couldn't tell you what the 16th note. I had to look up what the 16th note. It said place the 16th note. I didn't know what that was. So I don't know anything about music. I can't read music. I don't have an ear for music or anything other than, like, I like music. I like listening to it, and I like listening to Mozart. But I really like the Euro-ness of this. And when I heard about how the game plays, it reminded me a lot of one of my favorite games, Concordia, where you've got cards that you're playing, and the cards you play are going to dictate your actions for the turn, and they're going to slowly whittle down, so you get less and less choice as you have less cards. But in this case, you get those cards back. Every round, you're going to have 9 cards. And then you're going to buy some, and when you buy them, you're going to cycle out your old cards. So your cards are going to get stronger as the game goes on. But unlike some other games where you're purchasing cards and you have more actions, you still only have the 9 actions. Well, really, you only have 8 actions each round and then 1 left over. But you're going to have a choice between 9 actions, but really it's only going to be a choice between 4 or 5 actions, because the other half of the card you're just going to place in when you take the turn. You're going to take the action on top. You're going to place a different card, losing that action to get that resource for the next round. I really like that, the resource aspect, the card utilization of actions. There's a little bit of moving around the board for actions, and everything is points. Pretty much everything you do in this game gets points, whether you're moving pieces around the board, whether you're playing cards for points, whether you're buying cards for points, whether you're selling cards for points, whether you're contributing to the final piece for points later, depending on which of the composers you help more in each of the 5 I don't even know what they're called, but 5 phases of the symphony or whatever it is. And I really enjoy this game. I want to play it again. I want to play it again with people because, again, I played this one solo, but I feel like it could be one of my favorites after the first play, and I might do a review of this later. Speaking of which, and I meant to mention this in the housekeeping at the beginning of the video, I have a poll right now. I don't know how easy to find they are, so I'm going to try to link it in my comments below to go to the poll and vote for the 5 games I kind of thought about as my review for coming up later this month. I will close that poll, I think, probably next Sunday or the 13th of November, 14th maybe, so that I can start, doing the review and getting that all ready for you for the end of the month. So check that out and vote for what you think I should review. Lacrimosa is on there as a kind of first impressions, so that was a little bit of my first impressions. If I do that video, I'll give you some more. But anyway, Lacrimosa. I knew there was something else I wanted to include in my bookkeeping at the beginning that I forgot about. I should take better notes, but it's not like me. Even when I take notes, I don't look at them. I know me. Other than right now, I'm looking at the list of what I played. Go figure. Anyway, the next game, what are we at? 21 and a half now of 23 and a half, so we're pretty much done. Is a game I wanted to get while I was there. Could not find it in the little bit of time I had, so I went ahead and purchased it the next day from the ship, and it arrived basically right after we got home. That's Santorini. Santorini, I was in Santorini. I wanted to get the game while I was there. Couldn't find it. Got it. Played it with my mom. It's a nice little abstract game where you're just trying to be the first one to get your worker up on top of a level 3 building. Plays pretty quick, pretty easy, and we played it just the one time. I thought it was fun. My mom thought it was a game she played. To say she didn't have feelings either way about it, I guess, other than she wasn't up for another round after we played it. Which is fine, because then we played the next game on the list. And that is Space Base. I played that last month. I really enjoy it. You know, for a rolling dice game where I don't generally like these unless there's a lot of mitigation. This game doesn't really have mitigation so much as eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to be able to do something. Whether or not that something is ideal or not, that's the different story, and that's what happened to me. Every roll I had was just not in my favor, and every roll my mom had was in her favor, and she kicked my butt, except she's kind of stalled enough to let me catch up and make it close. It really wasn't as close as the final score might look, even though the final score was really like 44-32, which isn't even that close, but she probably could have ended it while I had like 14 points. But Space Base, I enjoy that one. I played that last month, so I don't need to get into that any further. The final game I played this month is another one I introduced to my mom, and I don't think my daughter played this one, but it's Clank, the deck building adventure. I really enjoy that one. I played that one last month. You know, it's fun to just explore the dungeon and race in, race out, and I pushed myself too hard this time and did not make it out. So my mom beat me in that game as well. To round out October, and we did not round it out with very many Halloween-themed games because I wanted to dig into all the new stuff I got from Essen, and then again, you know, we played some Halloween games at the beginning of the month, so we played some different stuff at the end of the month with my mom. And when we get into the next month, you'll see that I've continued to play with my mom some games, some new things, some varied things, so hopefully you'll stick around. Like my videos, so you get some more. I guess don't like them. Do like them. I didn't want to say don't like them, but I meant to say subscribe to my videos if you want to see more. Like them if you like them. Like them if you don't like them. I don't care. Dislike them. I think also helps the algorithm. I prefer you didn't dislike them. I hope you like them. I wouldn't do this if I thought everybody disliked it, but I don't know. So you thumbs up, please, if you did like it, and don't thumbs up if you didn't, or don't thumbs down if you didn't like it, or I don't know. I'm rambling. Let your friends know, subscribe if you haven't, comment below what you've been playing and what you want to see more of. And like I said before, go check out my poll to vote on the game I'm going to review later this month, and I will see you next time.